why max-funded IUL, Indexed Universal Life, is far superior to an annuity for retirement income. And so get ready. I'm going to explain why I've never owned an annuity. I doubt I ever will. And you'll gain some insights into why. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and a retirement planning specialist now for more than 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets, minimize taxes, and empower their authentic wealth, and hopefully not outlive their money during their golden years. Now, most Americans will draw income from 1, 2, 3, or 4 resources during their golden years. Many Americans pull from investment income. This would usually be yet to be taxed IRAs or 401ks, usually invested in the market, okay? Some people have real estate and they rely on rental income. Others, they like guaranteed income, Social Security or a pension if they taught school, or maybe an annuity. They're not so concerned about, being rich. They just don't want to be poor. So they want a guaranteed income, even though the rate of return isn't that great. My favorite is the green one, the tax-free income, because when you structure it correctly, it knocks the socks off of these other 3, okay? So let's go deeper for a moment in these. The purple bucket usually is yet to be taxed IRAs or 401ks invested in a volatile stock market. This is where 91% of Americans have, frankly, too much money. And so Wall Street was not designed to create predictable income. And so in the Great Recession, a lot of people had to put off retirement for several years because the market was going down, down, down. You don't want to have to do that. You don't have to time the market when you retire. So I recommend you roll money out, not roll money over, roll it out of here down here to the green bucket. That's called a strategic rollout. I recommend no more than 30% of your money at retirement should be in yet to be taxed IRAs or 401ks. Okay. If you own real estate, fine. But I recommend no more than 30% of your retirement income should be reliant on those rental properties having tenants paying rent in excess of your expense or your mortgages, okay? And so that's not the cat's meow. Down here in the orange bucket, we have Social Security, which people perceive as like a guaranteed income. You have pensions if you're a school teacher, police officer, or firefighter. And then you have annuities. And again, people take out annuities because they want to be assured that if the annuity runs out of money, they won't run out of income. It'll keep paying an income until their LE, their life expectancy when they die, okay? Now, the problem with annuities is they're only tax deferred. They're not tax free. And they're low yielding because they cannot invest it, or an indexed annuity cannot have as high as caps as IUL, okay? So IUL, even though it has an insurance component, will outperform an indexed annuity. And a lot of people don't understand why, okay? So over here we have Roth IRAs, municipal bonds, and max-funded tax advantage insurance contracts, my favorite vehicle. Roths, I will never own a Roth because they have too many strings attached. You can only put in a certain dollar amount, a certain percent of your income. If you make too much money, you can't even own a Roth. And you can't access your money for 5 years or until you're 59 and a half. It's got too many strings attached. Why would I mess around with all of those requirements when I can put in as much as I want into a max-funded IUL and pull out the money tax-free whenever, okay? Municipal bonds aren't as popular anymore because a lot of municipalities are filing bankruptcy. So MFTA, IUL laser funds are my favorite. So let me show you a simple way to determine why. And I recommend that 40 to 60% of your retirement income be in that green bucket, not even show up on the front page of your 1040 tax return, because the income that comes out of these 3 all show up on your tax return. I would prefer tax-free, okay? Now, in my most recent best-selling book that I would love to gift you a copy of at the end of this episode, you'll notice on the front cover these 4 pillars. These 4 pillars are the key elements of a prudent investment ranked in order of priority. Number 1 key element is liquidity, the ability to access your money when you need it. Number 2 is safety, safety of the institution and safety of your principal. that you don't lose what you set aside, but any year you make money, you want that to become newly protected principal so you don't lose in future years money you made in previous years. Most financial advisors don't know how to do that. IUL does that, okay? Next is to earn a rate of return. Now, too many advisors and, frankly, investors reverse these. They go out for rate of return and they give up liquidity and safety, and then they get in trouble. The fourth is tax advantages, which is like icing on the cake. So these four pillars, LSRT, is liquidity, safety, return, and tax advantages, okay? You can score any investment on a scale of 1 to 10 on these four key elements. So let me show you why I will probably never own an annuity. Never have. Because when you look at this chart here, this is a risk-return paradigm where I list 16 general categories of investments from highest risk to lowest risk, okay? And when I apply the liquidity test, this many fail. You can't get your money quick enough. You have to wait and sell the real estate or the stock or bond, or you have to pay 10% penalty to the IRS and pay tax if you access it. So it's not as liquid as people think, or if it's an annuity, you might have a surrender charge in the early years, okay? Now, over here, we also have this many that fail the safety test. You can lose your principal in that, okay? You can lose your principal when you put money in a bank account. Did you know that? If it's a CD and you redeem it early, you might even be penalized. And so this many don't pass the safety test. This many more don't pass the rate of return test. I mean, heavens, you have to have a rate of return greater than the inflation rate at the time. You can't be rowing upstream in a bank account at 3 miles an hour, 3% interest, and the current of inflation is coming down at 9. You're going backwards. So there's only 3 possible survivors after applying liquidity, safety, rate of return. A very small handful of mutual funds, number 10. A very small handful of annuities. But here's the best one, number 12, max funded insurance. You take the least amount of insurance death benefit you can get away with, and you put in the most money the IRS allows, and it turns into a tax-free cash cow if you read my book or watch other YouTube videos to understand this, okay? Now, there's only one of these 16 that gives you a tax-favored harvest. What do I mean? If you're a farmer and you had the choice of buying your seed in the springtime, and you didn't have to pay tax on what you paid for the seed. You plant it, you irrigate, you cultivate, you work hard, and in the fall, now you're harvesting your crops, and you have to pay tax on what you sell your harvest for. That's a traditional IRA 401k. You get a tax break on the seed money, but you have to pay tax when you go to use the money in retirement. I would rather just pay tax on the seed and enjoy the harvest without tax. That's what this one is, okay? Now, folks, let's go back to these 4 pillars, and let's first of all see how an annuity scores, because you can score any investment in America, mutual funds, stocks, real estate. You can score them based upon liquidity, safety, rate of return, and tax benefits on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? These 4 pillars. So when we look at fixed indexed annuities, because if I were ever to own an annuity, it would be a fixed indexed annuity because of indexing. But I doubt I'll ever own one. Here's why. When we apply the liquidity test, it only scores about 3 out of 10 because you can't get the money without incurring surrender charges in the first 10 or 15 years. It's just not as liquid. You're stuck with a monthly or annual income if you annuitize it and so forth. When you apply the safety test, it does score 9 out of 10 because it's part of the multi-trillion-dollar insurance industry, the backbone of America, where banks and credit unions put their tier 1 assets for liquidity and safety. Now, when we talk about rate of return, it only scores about 3, 4, or 5 out of a possible 10 because the caps on indexed annuities aren't as high as universal life. And so you have a hard time earning a rate of return that's as good as you could earn in max-funded IUL. A lot of people don't understand that. They think indexing is the same whether it's an annuity or insurance. No. Insurance indexing has way higher potential returns, okay? And so the cost of insurance is minuscule, but it makes it totally tax-free. It's not really a cost, it's a benefit. Because when we apply the tax advantages, annuities are only tax-deferred. If you pull out the money out of an annuity, it's now taxable. LIFO, last in, first out. If I put $500,000 into an annuity, and if it was earning, let's say 10% to keep it simple, 500 grand, and that's 50 grand a year, I would have to start paying tax instantly on that $50,000 a year of income, because that's the last money I'm earning, which is the first money coming out, okay? Whereas life insurance is taxed FIFO, first in, first out. But if you do it the smart way, it will always be tax-free. Now, if you add up these numbers, you will score 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 out of a possible 40. Mutual funds, IRAs, and 401ks usually only score about half of what you could score. Now, nothing scores a perfect 40, okay? But the reason why I like max-funded IUL, which, if it's structured correctly and funded properly, is deemed a laser fund, liquid asset, safely earning returns. With liquidity, it scores at least 8 out of 10. With safety, it's also a 9 out of 10. But with rate of return, it's at least 8 out of 10. And tax advantages, nothing else in the Internal Revenue Code in the United States accumulates your money totally income tax-free, allows you to access your money, including all the gain income tax-free. And when you die, it blossoms. It increases in value and transfers income tax-free. It's a perfect 10 out of 10. You add up those 4 numbers and you arrive at 35 out of 40. Where do you want your serious cash? In a vehicle that only scores 20 out of 40 or 35 out of 40? See, max-funded IUL is superior to an annuity, not because it's a little bit better. It's a whole lot better. And so if you want to learn why and see examples, they're in my book, The Laser Fund. You'll be able to compare annuities in here. And so this is actually 2 books in one. It's been flying off of our warehouse shelves. You can pick it up on Amazon for anywhere from $20 up to $60. If you do that, thank you, but I'll give you a copy for free. But it's actually 2 books. This side is about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations if you're a left brain learner. If you're a right brain learner, you flip it over to this one. This is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. And you'll see examples in this book of an annuity, even index annuities, compared to index universal life. And you'll see the huge difference, how annuities run out of money way faster than a max-funded IUL, which could give you income if you live to be 120. Annuities, same institution and an insurance company, you'll be out of money at age 70 or 80. Wouldn't you want something that lasts 40 years longer? Okay. And so if you want to use your whole brain, you can read both of these books. Simply go to laserfund.com or click on the link below. And you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. And when you're in there claiming your free copy, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's those formats available for your investment. But you can register for a free educational webinar that we teach every single week. You can even schedule an appointment to talk to an IUL specialist that will show you how an IUL may work in your particular set of circumstances for no charge, no cost, no obligation. So I implore you to take ownership of your brighter future by getting educated and exploring how a max-funded IUL can be the dream solution for your retirement so you will not outlive your money.